Mae. Mae, ¿qué? ¡Mae! ¡Qué susto, Mae! ¡Mae! Hubo gente en el... ¡Uy! ¡Mae! ¡Mae! ¡Ay! ¡Dale! ¡Pasó la perra!
So, beyond my frustration trying to get this gameplay, welcome to everyone to Sauce Time Gaming. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video once again. And today, Season 3 of Warzone brought its offering of new weapons to our already expensive arsenal. And today we're going to be looking at what the best long-range recoil build is for the new Nikita AVT assault rifle. Now, as we look into this weapon, I do want to say that it is very likely Raven will buff either the base recoil pattern for it or potentially address the unusual stats that only this weapon seems to have, like the recoil booster giving it extra hip fire accuracy instead of fire rate, and the fact that no magazine option has that slower fire rate, higher damage output characteristic that most, if not all, Vanguard weapons have. But regardless of these things, we have put this weapon through a pretty long testing phase to find if there could possibly be a viable setup, as by looking at the testing phase, you can see that the recoil pattern is, for the most part, not difficult to control, but that curvature plus the high fire rate this weapon has makes staying on target a less possible option. Keeping all these things in mind as you check out the build, because this is in no way a zero recoil or low recoil weapon, so don't get tricked out there by any clickbait title, but it can be a strong option if you really want to master a potentially meta weapon, because the time to kill here is comparable to the XM4, which is a fantastic stat to consider, but you do have to land those shots. So without further ado, and after watching the testing here, let's go ahead and hop on right into the build. So when we talk about the Nikita, this is going to be the build you want to run if you want to use this weapon for long range. Now, there could be a lot of different videos of setting this weapon up as a sniper support, but again, we're focusing on a long range build, and again, as the title said, this is only if you're really going to put time into practicing the recoil pattern of this weapon, because it does have this weird curvature that makes it very awkward to stay on target with. It's not impossible, but you do need to practice with this weapon if you want to be good with it and successful. I want to look at this weapon as the Modern Warfare RAM, just the Vanguard version of it, is that it's very rewarding when you manage it, and because of its high fire rate, it feels fantastic to pretty much delete someone when you're landing those shots consistently. So we're running the MX silencer to get that extra vertical control that you don't get from the Mercury. The Empress 613mm BFA barrel, I tested the other ones and they just don't give you as consistent of a pattern as this one, so make sure you run that as the barrel. Carver foregrip reduces that weird curvature the best. Instead of the M1930 or the M1941 or even the bipod, this is really the best consistent option that I found by all the testing I had to do. The 6.5 Sakura 55 round drum, because you need as many bullets as you can, because you might be missing some shots here and there and you want to have maximum bullet capacity to be able to delete people and maybe even snap from one target to another. Lengthen, because this is the long range option. Polymer grip was the best one to control that vertical portion. There are a lot of other good options, but they don't give you a consistent reduced weird curvature in the pattern itself, so polymer was just the best option here. And for this stock, I think this is going to be the most surprising one, but we're running the Empress notch stock. It only gives you recoil control, but after, again, a lot of testing, the best stock that we were able to discover was this one. It gave you a very consistent pattern and it didn't increase much of that weird curvature. So by all means, if you're gonna run a stock, run this one. If you want to run another stock, don't run any, because this is the only one that gave you a good consistent pattern. Apart from this one, just don't run a stock and you'll get another sort of consistent pattern, but this one is the best one if you want to put something on. And last here, for the perk, one, Brace and Perfectionist are not working on this weapon. I don't know if they're working overall at this point. Now I'm sort of doubting it, but on this weapon, they're definitely not working enough to help you in any way, so I would definitely recommend that you try any of the other perks. I'm running Sleight of Hand to get a little bit of a quicker reload, so just make sure you stay away from Brace and Perfectionist because they are not working at all. Optic is whatever you prefer. I'm probably going to run a G16 2.5X or a 1229 Slate 3.25x. I tend to like this sight with these weapons that have a weirder recoil pattern, so give it a try, maybe you'll like it as well. And for perk 2, you can either run fully loaded or on hand to get that extra aim down sight speed, which now coincidentally they actually added to the pros, so good to know there. And with that, this is the best Nikita build that you will find on the internet right now, at least until they fix whatever they're gonna fix or buff it in any way. And there you have it, the best long-range build for the Nikita AVT assault rifle in Warzone Season 3. Now, let me know in the comment section down below, are you a fan of bullpup weapons? Are you a fan of the RAM? Are you a fan of the Nikita, more importantly? And will you be giving this setup a try? Again, bear in mind, as I said earlier in the video, I do expect some changes to happen to either the base recoil for this weapon or to these attachments, which don't seem to really coincide with all the other Vanguard attachments, but only time will tell at this point. Let me know in the comment section down below if you do want to put some time into this long range Nikita build. Again, I think that if you ever use the RAM, you're gonna find this weapon very similar, and once you master it and get used to that recoil pattern, again, this very consistent one on today's build, I think you're gonna really enjoy this weapon. But with nothing else left to say, I thank you truly for clicking on today's video, and if you did reach this point, for doing so as well. If you do want to check out and you are a fan of iron sight weapons, then I'm going to leave a link to the 10 best iron sight weapons that I compiled at the end of this video, so you can go ahead and check that out. But with nothing else left to say, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and through it all, I hope you always remember Sauce Time Gaming.